What's up, YouTube? Carn221 here. Welcome to the new Company of Heroes 2. This is on Angermuende. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyway, we're playing with it's a 3v3 here. They made so many changes to this game. It is ridiculous how many changes they've made. Basically, want to do it more a realistic representation of. Okay, so you have some riflemen at long distance, and you have some shock troops, for instance, right? If the shock troops from long distance are trying to like shoot the riflemen that are behind cover from a long distance away, they're not going to be as effective, than the riflemen. But if they get up close to the riflemen, you're kind of up close to the rifle, you're not going to do as well in combat. So they changed like damage modifiers. They made infantry a hell of a lot more vulnerable and weaker. I wouldn't say necessarily like weaker, but they also made a bunch of changes to the Germans. I play as the Germans. You saw me play the Soviets quite a lot recently in my last two videos. So as the Germans, look at the fuel. 45 fuel instead of 25, 55, and then 60. So they bumped up the fuel phase. One thing I like they've done with the replays is they added chat back in, which is good. And this guy, Invader, was really kind of funny. So I've gone with the basic support doctrine here. I've gone with the German mechanized doctrine. So I was going to try to use the artillery. The smoke bombs I'll use. The spotting scopes are pretty good. I don't bother with the mechanized grenadier group. The command tank I do is pretty good. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to focus you on early game strategy with a ton of infantry. And that's what I'm doing pretty much. I got a ton of infantry that I'm going to start making off in the beginning. And this is a brand new map. Look how it's very I shouldn't be saying so much. It's very heavy for infantry, and it's kind of reminds me a little bit of, I think it was St. Helens in Company of Heroes 1. Kind of you have to fight for the town, except there's no kind of open pasture or anything. So it's a very heavy urban fighting. City 17 is not even close to this. This is probably the most urban map in the game right now for 4v4s. And I love that they added another 4v4 map to this game. They also added Stalingrad, I think, in a 2 to 4 player. I'll try to get you a game on that sometime. So as you can see here, the riflemen are coming up and getting MGs. After reading the extensive patch notes, what I decided to do is I decided to go at kind of a little heavier tier 1 than normal. I said I'll get the middle. It's great to communicate with your teammates. I was in the middle. This guy pointed to this thing. It's not showing it. And so I'm going to take the middle. My ally over here to the left, Sir Nit, is going to take the right side. These guys, Garrett, oh my gosh, Mick Garrett, wow, that was totally mispronounced, and Sebastian are going to take the right side, focus on our fuel. So you can see I'm holding this. I'm a little wary. I'm like, where are the Soviets? As you can see, they're coming over here. And one of the things that has been changed that might piss off a lot of people is the fact that troops are cheaper. Look at this. 270 instead of 360 for a penal troop. So you're going to see this guy is going to kind of spam penal troops. Look how light the scout cars are. Very little fuel, right? Extremely little fuel. And they already have one of them up here with a Maxim. So they're going to have scout cars be much more of a factor in the early game, but it will cost you more manpower than fuel. So it won't delay you as much on this overall, but it will hurt you a little bit with the manpower, not so much the fuel. And also, with a bunch of buildings like this, I actually decided to fortify these buildings. Put my MG here because I was afraid of, okay, I've known penal troops, right? I've done this many times to German players. Throwing a satchel charge in there. You can see in the negative cover how quickly these guys are dying, the heavy cover in the building. So you can see we're pretty combat effective in the building. I think the Grenadiers might have a small bonus to that. I'm not 100% sure. So you can see these penal troops got completely decimated there. I'm going to pull back a little bit to this house. It's a pretty good position to hold. And I might fortify with some bunkers. Meanwhile, the left side of the map, once again, guys in the building with their rifles. A lot more combat effective in the building there. We also got a machine gun down here. So keep in mind, mortars are very good early on. As you can see, I brought my mortar out. And that will help me decimate guys. These are strong points, so I'm going to target my mortar onto this building shortly. You can see it's a very heavy infantry clash in the first couple minutes here, especially on a 4v4 on this map. I really like this map after playing on it once. I like the amount of buildings that you're able to occupy. I like how it's a lot more focused on the infantry in the beginning, and then you can still maneuver a little bit with your tanks, but it's not like you're just going to be crashing through defenses and stuff. So he's pretty heavily fortified on the left side, LL. D has his own mortar. I've already talked about the mortars, but the mortar for the Soviets has precision strike once it's veterancy 1, and that makes them extremely deadly. While for us, you can see I'm bombing these guys now. Once again, pretty accurate. This guy's kind of spazzing out a little bit. So pretty active. You can do the counter barrage, which kind of like any enemy that's in range, your artillery is going to shoot at first. So if you don't want to do it manually. Now I figured I would, by how many guys were dying on this building, I just want to make sure I got some intel on it. You can see the fog of war there, and we were able to snipe him from this far distance. Well, his machine gun wasn't going to do too much. You can see though that one little burst there did do a decent amount of damage to me. So what's the natural response of this guy? Massive penal troops, massive infantry, and snipers. I'm not even sure he's teched up. You see, yeah, he's using the special rifle command. Once again, these guys are spamming penal troops, and it's kind of working. Keyword kind of. And I got in this building. I'm like, okay, I'll take this. You can see how quickly these guys are dying. They have no cover in the middle of the road there. They grabbed an MG42, and now they're laying that on me. Look, that one mortar. Basically, your infantry are a lot more fragile. That's how I describe the new changes. You can definitely see it. So I figure I'm just going to launch a rifle grenade. Look at this. One rifle grenade right in the center. Killed 3 guys. It wiped out that whole part of the squad. So if you can actually, if guys are clumped up with the lower reduced health, rifle grenades can be extremely deadly. So after I see that, I'm like, oh, okay. Now here's where, see how we're in negative cover there, and they're gonna wipe me out completely. That was a mistake on my part. I had 3 guys. I knew we had low health, but I figured that we could probably blast that and then run away, and that did not work out for me. Anyway, the left side is falling. One thing that we're starting to do is build fuel caches. As you can see, the Soviets have none, and we even have this guy harassing their fuel, so Sir Nit is doing a very good job. And I'm going to strategically withdraw from these buildings here. As you can see, I tried to put some barbed wire down to make it so they couldn't like come up, couldn't cross this area, but that was a mistake because they actually can. But you can see how deadly MG42s are now with the reduced health. Now they're suppressed. I mean, you're not going to have like guys next to each other anymore that are like point blank and not killing them. So you can see on the retreat they lost another man, but overall their health just got decimated there. So even more important now is to get medic bunkers, etc. You know, to medic bunkers and other things to help out your troops with their health, which seems to be very. They've pretty much knocked down the armor of even penal troops. I mean, I'm sorry, even shock troops had 2 armor, and now they're down to like, I think it's 1.5. Well, Panzer Grenadiers went from 1.5 armor to 1. So they've definitely made you a lot more vulnerable. And cover is probably more important than ever now with this massive update. So as you can see, I have the famous 10-minute rule that I called it. I'm not sure if it's famous, but it's a good thing for new players to think about. When you're 10 minutes, you can usually get a Panzer IV out, or etc. Even with this advanced teching up of the, you know, even with the more fuel and stuff, I'll still be able to get a Panzer IV at least being built around 10 minutes. So the 10-minute rule still applies even after this update. By the way, I love the comment section down below. Feel free to leave some comments about, do you like these changes to this? Feel free to subscribe. It's free. Just need a YouTube account. And that'd be great if you want to watch more Company of Heroes. I do have a lot of videos in this series here. I have about 30, this is 35, I believe. So, great combination with the support weapons of the machine gun, and mortar. Just gonna make him go away. He didn't use any of the, I think we recaptured the MG here, but look. They went right over the S minefield, which is unfortunate for him. He has to retreat there, and he's probably gonna lose it, but that was an S minefield. I lay one of these down here later, and it's very effective. So, you know, a great counter to the Soviets' early strategy is this lighter vehicle of the German version, obviously, made by Sebastian. Let's switch over to him. So, it's 10 fuel, 240 manpower. That's basically a squad. I think they bumped up the armor a little bit on these assault grenadiers. As you can see, infantry health is very low. You can lose a lot of men really quickly. Anyway, they have all support weapons here, so keep that in mind. If he just rushes with any kind of troops, he can easily overwhelm this position because there's no machine gun. And then rob the machine gun to cover him. Okay, makes some sense. I'm a little curious of what's over here, so as you can see, I'm just going to kind of go to here so I can retreat, and I see these guys, so I'm like, okay. You can see how inaccurate they are. Look how little health we've lost. We only lost some health because of the sniper. So they're really not doing that much damage from this distance. Let's keep in mind they do have PPSHs. So at this point, I'm just going to pull back. I do have a bunker up here and a machine gun, so this is a great choke point for early players at Germans. So if you get a bunker and a machine gun, you pretty much have this locked down from infantry. I have the Panzerschreck Grenadiers here, so I can knock off any kind of scout car that would try to flank. And I also have guys in the building here. You can see that he's trying to take out my MG here, and he's going to have to pull back. You can see the barbed wire is actually taking quite a lot of not casualties, but taking quite a lot of damage. So he's trying to build that. They threw a demo charge on it, and that wiped it sky high, and he lost that unit there. So I think a new problem to adjust to is the penal squad spam. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, we can see the assault rifles up close, so just absolutely decimating them. They had to pull back. They took heavy guards. I don't know what he's doing with this bunker. I'm trying to help out my ally, but as you can see, they have men up there. They've kind of completely pushed back Sir, who's done a lot of harassing. So I'm going to move my own mortar over and try to counter barrage him. As you can see, though, the assault rifles, very few casualties from this distance. You know, they're not close enough. They need to be like point blank with these guys. So the damage modifier for these guys is going to be a lot better. I don't know if he's trying to run them over or do scouting with that, but you really shouldn't have your half-track like just doing nothing. I don't think I can reinforce. Let me just go to McGarrett here and see if it can. I can't actually see if you can reinforce on it. I haven't really used that before. I mean, I've used it a couple times, but I haven't actually like reinforced from it, so I'm not sure. Let's see. Garrison 1 squad. Yeah, just for protection, I guess. So you must be scouting. Here's when all hell breaks loose. The enemy literally charges straight into me. I'm throwing rifle grenades, machine gun. That's 4 penal troops coming against me. I gotta pull back everything. I'm gonna lose them all. I got the mortar shelling down people. Thankfully, this is pitting all of them at the angle they did. So you can see there's tons of dead guys here. And you can just see that, I mean, one machine gun kind of held up quite a lot of them. And I have these guys back here. I need more infantry, you know, because I rushed for a tank. So 11 minutes, I already built a tank thing and I have a MG, I'm going to mount an MG on this tank here. And we should be able to, like, I was waiting, like, I just really wanted my tank to be here when that happened because I would have been able to blow up that scout car instantly and probably have killed most of this squad. So not effective against those guys there. It's kind of a pushback on that side. The left side's not going too well. And I actually shot some of my own men here, I believe. Or not. They're trying to throw a satchel charge. I'm like, excuse me. I'm the guy who likes to throw a satchel charge with penal troops. So I got the MG42 turret, I got my more grenadiers. I think it's, for the Germans, you have to be even more careful now with your infantry, because keep in mind the Soviet squads have 6. As you can see, I'm moving my tank here. Also, one thing I've noticed is that the pathfinding's gone a lot better. If I click an order back, my tank won't turn its back on the enemy. Now keep in mind, those are guard men in there, so if you see that, you want to get your guys out of there, because he knows this thing is screwed. They're doing quite a lot of damage, but for guards. But once you get in front of me, you know, I took out their cover there. I didn't want them to be hiding behind the wreck. If they would be smart, they'd go in the house, but no cover, middle of the street, they're not going to do so well, even though they did do a decent amount of damage. First T-34 is coming up. Luckily, I have some guys defending my position meagerly. So I'm going to have to move these guys up here before they take out my building there. Just the power of this T-34. I'm not sure it was damaged by any kind of mortar earlier, but I'm not going to let this T-34 live. I'm going to try to get behind their behind the tank with that. They're going to push in more towards my mortar here. I'm going to pull that back. I'm not going to let that fall in the enemy hands. I'm going to try to Panzerfaust it, and I got my tank coming behind it. So we actually did quite a lot of damage with this, which is good because, frankly, these were very deadly. Not to mention it's a side armor, so he's completely screwed. His engine actually got completely damaged there, and he's going to get destroyed there. Meanwhile, I have to pull back. One thing you notice is that MP is actually going to destroy this tank here. He doesn't want me to re-garrison, because I'd tell you, I'd absolutely garrison that if I wanted to. So he's going to do the attack ground and blow that up, which is smart. You don't want to give me a free T-34, right? I have my pioneers that should be coming up to repair my tank here. I have these guys here if they want to. I'm like worried about another massive infantry assault. Meanwhile, There it is, the massive infantry assault. If I had the light artillery barrage here, that'd be great, but not with my doctor. So you can kind of see the spam of penal troops. 3 penal troops, half-track, snipers, all flamethrowers. I'm going to be forced back in the center here now. I'm going to pull these guys back. There's no win for them there. So we got the MG42s going. Thank God the Panther came in, because frankly that's going to start distracting them. Because my infantry, I can pull this up for support even though they're damaged. As you can see, look at that. They're just getting absolutely massacred. That's almost 2 full squads that got completely wiped out there because of my MGs and my tanks. So I figure, you know what, now is the time, right? That SU has to pull back. We got more tanks coming up. There's nothing that can stop me, and I need to get rid of this SU with him. So we just got a nice shot there, you saw, and we're just going to continue to pursue. Someone's just got to know, even if your tank is wounded, you just got to take him out, and that's what we're doing exactly there, and the Panther got him. So thank you, thanks for coming in with your Panther, Mr. Sir Nit. Good team. We're going to have these guys, like, clicking on that. You know, they're trying to repair, and I'm like, I better just send some troops if I want to get that to a safer area. Meanwhile, my machine gun is back now, Veteran Z1. Okay, this is a waste what he does here. Keep that, well, okay, that's actually not a waste, I'm sorry. He did something later that's kind of a waste. He's behind our lines, though, trying to get rid of fuel caches, which isn't... Okay, he was going to destroy it. He really did not need to waste munitions there. But he's going to turn his, Sir Nit is kind of like the you want to do, like, powerful armor. Let's actually look at his doctrine here. Yeah, he's all the Panzer, stuff. So he's doing Jaeger armor doctrine. So you can see elephant, the bombing, recon is pretty good, and anti-tank rush. Here's what I did that was stupid. He pulled out here, and he didn't realize that I retreated some of my troops here, and I blew that up. And he's gonna lose a veteran C2 penal squad for no real reason. I threw a rifle grenade in there, and look how they're getting killed by pioneers. And we got some, you know, guys from further distance, but you can really see that the MP40s, the pioneers, up close, are deadlier than their rifles. You know, they were veteran C2. So I'm trying to reestablish my lines here a little bit. A lot's going on the right flank. Also, Austrians are very good against the new infantry. I tested that out in this match. As you can see, we're kind of fighting as a team a little bit. You know, he may have lost his left side, but he's not going to be done here. If you have a Panther and you button it, it will stop its movement. And when it's low on health, that's a very good thing to do. But he tried to blitz out of there, but notice when you blitz and your engine gets damaged that you cannot do it. I was sending in my guys, and I realized, okay, I can't help him, so I'm just going to push further in. Once again, right in all the infantry. You know, if I can keep harming his infantry, that'll make my life a lot easier. They do have an anti-tank gun they're turning. I kind of know right about now it's probably a good time for me to pull back. Because once I saw their first anti-tank gun, I'm like, they're going to respond to my incursion into their territory, so I'm going to pull back. Especially these guys in heavy cover there. And we have SUs. So here's what I'm doing. Kind of I'm not sure if other players use the smoke bombs, but I'm going to do that to confuse them. So I just dropped smoke so they lost their line of sight on me, and I'm going to pull back. I'm trying to like, get my guys further back. Look how crowded it is up here, and I have the Austrian and stuff, so... This tank's just facing that way, and I'm going to get hit in the back, so I'm just like, okay, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. Rear armor hit, a lot of damage done to me. Moving up these guys. Once again, you can see I have put an S-mine there. And look at the Austrian, it's just going to do some real damage. They put fire on me as I'm trying to take out this guy. Taking a lot of casualties, but we do... They got distracted there. They're throwing more fire on me. I got to pull these guys back, but I'm not going to do it in time. We are taking a lot of casualties. We're completely surrounded in fire, and I'm going to lose that unit, unfortunately. He's going to dance on fire, get all the way back, pretty much just about off the fire, and then he's going to burn. By that point, I thought he was good. I was actually watching that, and they bombed this whole area. I've had to pull back. So I got to repair this. I got to bring up my half-track. Gotta move my half-track around. I do have a lot of troops here. We're ready to counter. You know, they've summoned us up quite a lot with all these flame attacks that are going on. But my tanks are in dire, desperate shape here. You can see that Mick Garrett has decided to commit a large number of troops, albeit in a blob, to help recapture this side here, because right now they have a lot of Oswins that are kind of hiding. Sebastian has a lot of Oswins in defensive positions here, so it's kind of a standoff. And remember how I was talking about that infantry spam that's coming back? Look at this. S-mines. These are bouncing Bettys. They were called bouncing because terrifying things. They'd come right at your belt level, and they'd bounce up and they'd explode with shrapnel. So watch these guys get massacred. So one of the bad things that he did while doing that, my ally, was he didn't realize I had an S-mine field there and pretty much blew up all my mines. So as soon as he's trying to scout there, so I gotta pull back. And I'm just trying to pull my guys back a little bit and get my my men there. Getting back towards the half track here. Let's see, do we have any medic bunkers yet? No. Do any of the Soviets have any kind of medical bunkers? Surprisingly, okay, they do back here. This player should really do it because their men are going to have to go through there. Massive attack on the far left flank here. Well, their left flank. Left side of the map, we'll call it that. Once again, nothing really stop us. They're kind of reacting while we're attacking, which is pretty much a good thing. You want to keep your opponents guessing. I got a second Pioneer squad. I figure I cannot get the repairs done necessarily with my troops, just with one of those guys. Keep in mind, veterancy on those guys does increase your reload skills. So I brought the Panzer Grenadiers, favorite unit, still 360 manpower, unfortunately. Snipers are still 360. Yeah, the Soviet infantry got cheaper. And the German infantry, okay, they're 340 now, so 20 manpower cheaper, while those penal troops used to count on them are literally, oh, watch me try to take out this artillery gun here. I shouldn't have tried to close in because the rifles aren't that good, but for the MG, that was a good thing. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to react of where I think they're going to actually go with this. So I'm going to launch a rifle grenade right behind them. Just they're kind of going back towards here, so I'm going to launch it. Or am I going to launch it right at these guys? Oh, no, I launched it right at those guys and killed like 3 guys. Wiped out their gun. I've done my job. I need to pull back here. Whoa. They just seem to wipe something out down there. Anyway, they've kind of pushed us back. We actually lost a lot of the tanks that were involved down there. Yeah, it looks like NIT got decimated. The massive Soviet SU force there. So once again, I laid down some more mines. I think, yeah, those are still some Bettys. And look at these guys. And they're calling in more flames. So I'm going to pull these guys back. These guys are just a turn, but look at my MG42 setting up here. They didn't realize, but they kind of cut off their escape. We've got the Oswin here. Utter massacre with the MG, our assault grenadiers, and the Oswin. And they're running over their own fire there. They're going to lose 2 full squads. That was very much an engagement in my favor. Anyway, another major assault coming over here. I need to pull these guys back. Light artillery barrage. Pretty much a ton of stuff is happening in the center. Mines are going off. Katyusha rockets are coming toward us. A lot of my men are getting wiped out. I'm trying to like replace the wounded and dead, but they're gonna get like directly hit. Even my engineers are getting hit back here. And then the worst thing is they have 2 artilleries now. And guess what they're gonna do with the artillery? Target me most of this game. So I can't keep my men too bunched up. They're kind of figuring out where I'm like getting my guys. I'm repairing more troops now. Repairing more tanks now. Keep in mind when you are playing, infantry a hell of a lot weaker. Obviously, keep in mind the rifle against the assault, rifle against the various assault rifles that the Germans have, and some machine guns. Keep in mind the damage factor, which is how it should work, right? If you have I always thought with your shock troops, if you got them really close, you'd have more damage. I thought that was just involved in the game, but the big thing is infantry being a lot weaker. So now we have a major assault coming in. I don't know what they were doing. They turned to the right and turned their backs to all our tanks here. Doesn't make any real sense to me. But they're turning their back on a Panther. Whereas, you know, I probably don't want to take on 3 of those guys. Anyway, I figure, what the hell? He's in trouble. I'm going to send my own guys in. I'm upgrading these guys. And look at that. Boom. They had a recon plane that was going by. And my Osman shot it down. And it landed right into their tanks. How epic was that? Leave that comment. You got to check that out at 23 minutes. That was pretty epic. And so that massive Soviet armor presence has pretty much been wiped out. We got some more SUs here. I don't want to lose this unit though, so believe it or not, he's actually going to run up right next to those guys and die. I wonder if that was friendly fire. Yeah, they killed that unit. So I've lost quite a lot of infantry here because I wasn't great with the unit preservation for the infantry, just overall. And now that they're even weaker and there's less of them with the Germans, it's a lot harder. I figure right now it's not worth it. I don't want to lose that unit. Remember, I just lost that one unit. The Panther will take him out. And not to mention, my mortar's done a great job killing some of the Soviet infantry. So I'm kind of getting pushed back again. This is actually the VP right here. No, this is the VP. That's the munitions point. That's right. So once again, they're kind of pushing up. I just got a little too aggressive there. I'm throwing smoke down over all my troops here. I gotta fall back because I see my tank with a lot of damage to its engine. I don't have any infantry around. I got some of these pioneers. So that's not gonna do a whole lot. Thankfully, the half-tracks, the machine guns used to not do anything, literally, and now they've upped their damage by like 200%. So, as you can see, a lot of damage this Osman is doing, and the machine gunners having to hold these guys up. So I got all my men on this tank. I'm calling in more smoke. I'm just desperate to cover us up with smoke here. I'm liking this because the smoke can really help us and just help protect, and then I probably lost another infantry squad at some point. I don't have a lot of manpower. I got a ton of fuel. Manpower's my issue, and look, they're trying to flame us. And they increase the range, I think, on the Panzer strikes. But keep in mind, when you bunch up like this, like that, you're very vulnerable to Soviet incendiary barrage, or what's that called exactly again? Go to the Soviet players here. I was right, incendiary artillery barrage. So they pushed us back in the center. They've taken over some. They pushed me pretty far back, and now this guy is still somehow holding this. Interesting. He put his own artillery pretty close to the front line here. It's only being held by a field gun. So. With that, I said, what the hell, I'm going to grab myself a command tank, and that boosts all defensive capabilities in this area, so it's even helping his panzer. But I see a tank here, and I'm messaging him to get back. I don't know why the messages aren't popping up during the actual game, but they popped up in the beginning, which is kind of weird. You can see this pretty much has been leveled. And look, you guys, what Mr. Nid has been doing a lot of this game is using his Panthers and getting way behind the Soviet lines and been able to take out the SUs. That's something that kind of scares me when I have the Su-85s. If I don't have at least 2 of them, like 2 of them will kind of protect you from getting singled out by anyone who can maneuver. Because keep in mind, they're tank destroyers. And I'm telling him, like, go after the Katyusha that's been bombarding us. And he's going to try to, but, you know, they're going to send in some more tank support. And we also have a bunch of stuff. We need to focus on the middle. I'm gonna say these Panthers, I gotta start using them. I'm gonna get one of my own in this game, but I gotta stop like relying so heavily on the Panzer Force. I mean, he had a heavy armor core, right? Around 10 minutes. So we got a Panther out a little bit later. So I'm like, you want to play? I got some Panthers here. They activated tracking, which will help. I got my command tank. My command tank managed to blow up this that field gun. I'm pushing. Just got to finish off this tank here. There's no one that can pretty much stop me, I don't think. Very important. That was a Veteran Z2 tank. And I'm buying scopes for all my tanks to help let them see you. So I'm pulling this guy back. He's been pretty damaged. The command tank's actually, I think, pretty decent about taking out infantry. As you can see, it's not shooting like an AP, it's shooting a high explosive shell. I think the heavier Soviet tanks also shoot high rounds. You can see, though, later game, we are getting a lot of tanks out. Well, my allies. Not so much me. I'm kind of trying to get the infantry to hold this area. But as you can see, though, that artillery... And then look, they're calling in more artillery on this position. I just want to at least neutralize it, because right now, they not only have the left side, which is being held by anti-tank, anti-infantry, they're now taking this side. And they've wiped out his artillery. They should really start bombarding that and just get rid of it, because that's a lot of manpower. And look, now I'm getting flanked from that side. So our front lines, our solid front line has been broken, and now we're getting hit on that side. I'm like, I'll do massacre around Toon with my Oswin. And they threw a grenade, and that's gonna wipe me out. I tried to retreat, but I didn't get the I didn't see the satchel charge in time. Well, we captured it, but I'm not sure it's worth losing my veteran crew there. So I don't mind moving up the Oswin and the command tank, but I cannot let them take us out. But I see, look, another veteran Z2 SU. So these guys have just been where was that giant explosion? Anyway, I'm pretty much down to my pioneers, and my Panzer Grenadiers are now coming back to base. I just cannot make I'm losing too many infantry and am not getting them out in time, so that's something I have to work on. I know that. So take that away. You got to be, like, you're about it. If you were okay at preservation, you got to be even more careful now with the cheaper infantry. Well, not necessarily cheaper infantry, a lot less health with this infantry. As you can see, the Panthers are coming in. Panthers in the Oswin, anti-tank and the infantry. Not a bad combination, indeed. Now he wants to be careful not to kill his gun there, to just kill the crew. But he managed to kill the gun there, so he lost his gun. A little too close to the front lines, in my opinion. As you can see, he's built up some more forces, Mr. Nit. I'm trying to shoot down this recon plane or strafing, whatever you want to call it. Wasting your time there. You cannot really kill that thing with machine guns. Once again, did some recon now, shooting at us. That has to be recon. And my Oswin is alert and ready to shoot it down if it comes close, like overhead like that. And we shot it down. I'm not sure where it landed. Oh, it landed right there. So, as you can see, recon planes, if they have Oswins, can actually be extremely deadly. They're attacking at a narrow front at a strong point. This is a very bad attack, especially when you have these S-23s. They're kind of good against infantry, but they're horrible against tanks, especially SUs. When you attack in a linear fashion like that, especially at this choke point, that's when you don't have maneuver against these Su-85s, don't really get you in trouble. So once again, my infantry force is going to pull back. I really want to level this building here, but thankfully my Oswin's helping me take out the infantry that are here, and I got my Panzer Grenadiers coming in. I guess I'm really saying for the more expensive infantry, like I don't really care about the Grenadiers. The Oswin actually is killing my own men here, which is not good. And look, just even more of them. Thankfully this building got leveled. The whole building got leveled. So pretty much all the buildings around here have been leveled. And they're going right in, and we wiped out that whole squad. Just between the Oswin and this guy. So I gotta pull back here. Because they're trying to shoot at me with their anti-tank. And let's go to the right side of the map now. They've come out of their little choke point. One-on-one, they're not going to win a frontal armor assault against a Panther. However, the side armor is much more vulnerable. So he knows to pull back. I feel like in the late game, it's really just SUs against Panthers, or even IS-2s can be extremely deadly against Panthers. Surprisingly, oh, speaking of the IS-2, I saw this through the fog of war. I was like, guys, Guys, IS-2. IS-2 in the center. And my tanks are not repaired. Keep in mind that this is going to be shooting a different kind of... I was watching someone else's video and it seemed like they were shooting a... it seemed like the tank was shooting a different kind of... almost like an explosive shell at the other guys. So we'll watch when it takes some shots at us. As you can see, this place is pretty much on fire, but I'm going to show you the Su-85. They're mostly... they're really just trying to take us out, push us back in the center and hold those victory points. Now, he turned his back to all three of the Panthers that can just come blitzing in, right? And you're going to lose your tank there, sir. Not even a chance to get out. So, a lot of manpower, I believe about, let's double check that how much manpower that is. I've got 121 kills at this point, by the way. Keep that in mind. Let's go up here. Let's see. An IS-2 costs 760 manpower and quite a lot of fuel, so that was a complete waste. Is that my tank there? Yes, it is. My tank doing the good old, not like ring around the rosy, but... Oh boy, I gotta get this guy out of here. Might lose him. And at this point... That was bad because he had more guys. I didn't realize he had an anti-tank guard there, but they got a lot of anti-tank guns set up, a lot of guard infantry. It's not looking good, and they've even pushed us over here. So we've now lost that area. Once again, though, their airplanes, that barrel just flew all the way up in the air and is going to land. Wow. So they have all 3 victory points right now, which is really not good. And our armor force is pretty beat up. Luckily, though, I'm getting a Panther. We're making I had the idea to make a massive push on this side. So my allies had the same idea also. You know, why fight for the hard victory points that they're dug in and just go for the easy one. Don't always attack the enemy at their strongest point. That's exactly what we're doing here. So that'll also put some pressure off us on the center. I was gonna try to block any reinforcements that were coming, and he sees my tanks here and my Osman. He's gonna focus fire on that Osman. Just gonna try to go around him as quickly as I can. And there goes his Veteran C2 crew. Now we have an ISU coming. We have an Su-85 coming along with another one. And I realized that, you know, this is probably a good time. I know I'm gonna lose my Osman, but I'm gonna ring my tank around this area and try to pull him back. But there's more SUs. I'm like, oh my gosh, I like ran their reserve column there. I know my Osman's screwed, but it was worth it to take out that gun, which they just remanned. But no matter, we'll take these guys out. They remanned them. Oh, I hear. Oh, just missed. He remanned it with shock troops, which is not cost effective. So this is probably a good example of how quickly riflemen will die to assault grenadiers if the artillery hadn't come in and literally wiped me out. I'm very curious. Where's this? 2 friendlies, 3 friendlies. I think I lost. No, I got those guys out luckily. I'm realizing I probably can't have I can't have really high expensive infantry here, so I'm just gonna go with some basic grenadiers. My goal should be to take out this artillery because it's on the flank of my ally here, so I'm going to do a rifle grenade. Not man them with cons, just man them with expensive troops. See, the rifle grenade is definitely going to wipe these guys out. And he's even calling some light artillery on there. Just destroy the gun completely. So now the Panthers have come in, blitzing around the guys. That's how vulnerable the Su-85s can be. They can just be blitzed around like this with veterans Panthers and even get around their defenses. So yeah, their machine guns can just keep wiping them out. They didn't, however, get... Oh, that's another SU. That was the one that went out of control. You can see no shots are going in really. Blitzing. Just like literally just wiped out 2 tanks and is destroying his defensive line here. He did get butt in vehicle though, which is pretty bad. He needs to pull back at this point. What he's doing though, he's doing a costly strategy. He's launching his own... I'm really hoping that Panther gets out. He's launching his rocket half-track at those guys to take them out, so that's why his tank took some casualties. So he lost 1 Panther, got 2 Su-85s, and also wiped out 2 field gun crews. So overall, not too bad losses. Very cost effective for the losses he took. Meanwhile, I still have my Panther. I'm repairing him. I wish I had more Panthers to build. I'm pretty good with armor preservation overall, mostly. Except when I make a couple dumb mistakes. But I'm working on it, especially the infantry preservation. Even more now, I'm determined now, just because of the fact that infantry are so weak. Well, weak on their armor at least. Anyway, this is a great time to point out that I have 34 other videos for this series, so you can welcome to look on that playlist. If you're subscribed, to stay tuned for more updates. I'm going to try to get you some more information on this beta, and this update to Company of Heroes 2, and pretty much some more news, you know. Still navigating the new strategies to put through. And this son of a gun, with his stupid artillery, has just been whacking us this whole time.
Now we can see them before they see us.
9-16. Either way, I'm ready for this massive infantry assault that's gonna come. And guess where they're heading? They're heading up here. Now, if you were to use his scout recon, he could probably drop. That's 3 artillery this guy has. That's all his manpower too. Let's go to him really quick before the match ends. He's got like 75 population put on these guys. Anyway, massive assault's gonna come up here. We're placing mines down. S minefield should help kill a lot of those guys. For some reason, they're trying to send in artillery, and they're sending in more of these guys. I'm just like, I'm gonna keep my machine gun here. We just gotta take out as much of these guys as we can. We're not gonna let them hold this center. We're not gonna let them take the center. We're gonna hold them back. Even if I am taking some casualties. So I've killed so far. This Twitch thing's in the way, but I've killed 150 men in this battle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this match. Feel free to leave a like and a comment. Talk about the new update if you guys want. And that is Chrome221 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed this.